Morning, everybody. It is 8:16 a.m. It is May 16th. Hope everybody had a good trading day yesterday. I certainly had one. I can't complain about that. Market is very choppy, like in the ES. NQ still getting that dip bought. No surprise there. Um, we had Home Depot report today with a miss. That's kind of what's on the headlines. Obviously, got the debt ceiling, but I don't think most people think we're not going to raise it. So that's that. What else here? As always, let's get into the introduction of the channel here. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use volume and market profile. Welcome to my channel to come up with game plans as well as gamma exposure levels and supply and demand. We'll use trend lines not all the time, but when I see that it obviously has been honored, like the Qs have been honoring a channel, and trade stocks. If I don't find that there's something going on in the markets, I look for individual stocks. But if I don't have a clear picture in stocks, I will trade futures and I will trade the indexes. Okay. And as always, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Set an alert. That would help me out. Okay. Trying to build this channel. Give me a like as always. That big thumbs up always helps. And you can follow me on Twitter, Gonzo719, and also my Instagram at Gonzo719 Jersey. All right. Let's get right into the watch list. All right. Let's see what we got going on here. So the VIX is up 2.28%. Okay. Crude is up 0.3. Bonds slightly up. 30-year bonds. 10-year yield doesn't drop to 820. Nasdaq's basically flat. Dollar's flat. ES is down 0.15. The Dow is down 0.25. The Russell is down 0.46. Ether down 0.52. Gold hovering around the 2K. Point 7 up, down 0.72. Bitcoin's down 1.24. Silver is down 1.49. Okay. Let's go over into the next watch list. These are the stocks that I like to trade. Okay. Now Tesla. Tesla is up only 0.24. I have highlighted stocks that I'll go into. Google is up 0.12. All right, now let's get into some of the other stocks that I was looking at. Snow, it's made a big move lately. It's kind of consolidating, and I want to see now it has a weekly and monthly flip point at 167.5, so that could act as support. But if it happens to break the 173.27 area, I'm interested in like a pullback there to see if we can get some farther movement. All right, Meta had a nice trade in there yesterday, and I'm actually looking for Meta to pull back possibly to that level again. What is that level? That level's 238.20. Okay. Nvidia. Nvidia has strong resistance at 290. So I think Nvidia is seeing its top, but um, I want to lean more into the short side of Nvidia. So if you break 290 but then fall under it and hold under it, I would probably look for a short. I'd be a little hesitant on a long. It's so overextended. So that's what I'm looking at there. Let's see. In Boeing, Boeing's been in a range. Okay, Boeing's been in a range. I want to see a break and hold 203.29. Okay, right now on the daily chart, you have the 20 simple moving average at 203. So it's been in balance. So I really want to see it hold there, and it could possibly make a run higher. It's been just inside of a big range. Okay. Baba, I want to see a break and hold 88.48. However, you do have the 50 and 200 day moving averages above. Okay. Coin is down 1.27%. With coin, I want to see a hold of 61. It actually will break a downtrend line. It does have the 200 moving average at like 60 something, but above that it has the 50-day moving average. Now, Home Depot, I just added it to the list. I usually have it in the top sector stocks. However, they just missed earnings. Okay, and some potential big levels I'm looking at. Okay, the bottom of the range it was trading was 284.40. If the stock moves up to that level and finds resistance, I would probably look to short it. And then there's two big gamma levels, put walls below at 280 and 275. Let me just make sure that I'm not making that up. Let me just look at that real quick. Yeah, 280 is a big gamma level, but the monster's 270. 270. So that's what I'm looking at. All right. Now let's move on. All right. So what do we have here in top sector stocks? We don't really have much of a leader. Okay. We do have laggards. Walmart. I believe Walmart's reporting this week. Roblox is down, and we already know about Home Depot, the big sales, the revenue miss and guidance. They gave poor guidance, and obviously with lumber, I believe getting cut from prices that lowered their revenue. So you guys know about that already. So let's move on. Top sectors. Well, there's really not a top sector right now. There's a little bit of laggards. We got basic materials and consumer discretionary. Consumer discretionary is down because of Home Depot. Okay, but the market's not doing much. All right. All right. Let's get into some possible news. Well, on the economic calendar today at 8:30, we will have retail sales, and we will have retail sales not including autos. Okay. Fed Mester speaking now. Fed Bostic speaks at 8:55. Um, we have Fed Bar testimony at 10 a.m. What else do we have? Fed Williams, Fed Logan, and Bostic speaking at 7 p.m. So a lot of Fed speak again. That's what we have for that. There's some news here. Home Depot we know about. Just want to see Baidu search engine beat costs. They're gapping up. Home Depot we know about. Tencent, which is like a Spotify for China, they did well. A billionaire investor, William Hackman, has built in the first quarter a new stake in Alphabet worth 1.1 billion. Let's see. Berkshire Hathaway talked about getting out of Bank of New York Mellon, U.S. Bancorp, as well as Taiwanese chipmaker TSMC, and furniture chair restoration hardware. What else here? Meta. Okay, so Meta, prominent hedge funds including Arrow Street Capital, D1 Capital Partners, and Coat2 Management were among the investors that bought shares of the tech company in the first quarter of the year amid eye-popping rebound in the Facebook parent stock. Meta Platforms, which suffered the worst decline among the mega cap FANG stocks in 2002, jumped about 70% during the first quarter after the stunning Wall Street with the better than expected earnings and steeper cost cutting, while at the same time announcing 40 billion share buyback. Shares of the company are now up 100% for the year to date. All right, that's why basically they got an upgrade yesterday, and that was a nice long for me yesterday. Still have to do those shorts. I didn't have time, but I still will do that on BABA and that. What else here? Now it says Tesla succession planning, demand and focus ahead of shareholder meeting. So Tesla CEO Elon Musk will be under pressure to address investor concerns about the lack of a clear successor, softening demand and delays of some new models when he speaks at the electric car maker's annual shareholder meeting. All right, so that's about it for the news. We can get into daily charts. Just give me one sec while I pull that up. And of course, we'll start out with good old SPY. Just give me one sec. All right. So let's look at the daily chart, right? So you can clearly see the SPY 411 is the most traded price of the last year. I believe that just moved up here. No surprise there. We're just in this big range, right? So let's get into this move here. Okay. So the trend has been open up, go down, get bought up. That's basically been the trend. Okay, yesterday we got support off the FOMC anchored VWAP here. Okay, we closed above the ADMA and the 20-day simple moving average. All right, but we still have this 414 resistance ahead of us. Okay, 408 is the support. Okay, can we reach this swing high of 417.44? We have to see, right? Right now we're currently at 412.33. So we're right around the yesterday's open. Okay, so that's what we got going there. The buying profile of the last 30 days, very balanced. We're having like an inside week of last week. Okay. There's the weeklies. Look at that 10-week EMA, still acting as support. Okay, moving on to the Qs. Let's look at the Qs. Most traded prices all the way down here. Obviously, the Qs have been stronger. Okay, now we're starting to build a new range up here. So let's get into it. So let's put a little resistance line here. 327.03 looks like a new resistance, right? 323 is a support. All right, so we came down here again, hit the ADMA daily, came down again to this 323 level and got bought up. No surprise there. Right, where are we at now? 326.60. We are right here in the upper part of the range. All right, we'll get into that major levels being held in the market profile and volume profile. Okay, let's look at the profile. All right, we're holding these levels. Okay, key level is this 321 level. That's the most traded price of the last month. Okay, and you have support 321.32 right here. That would be a big point, turning point in the market if you could break that. All right, let's look at the weeklies. One time framing in the weeklies. One time framing just means you're making higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. That's obviously bullish, right? And we're banging our head against this 327 level. Next level of resistance, 330. That's the monthlies. All right, moving on to the Dow. So Dow, so the Dow below the most traded price of the rolling year. Okay, Dow was weaker. Let's zoom in. Okay. So the Dow's in this range here, right? 331.47 seems to be the support right now at the bottom of the range. All right, anchored VWAP from this FOMC acting as resistance. You see this right here? Resistance, resistance. And remember, these anchored VWAPs are not just moving averages, they're actually on the volume weighted average price. Okay? So it's showing you basically, I put it at the high of the FOMC. So if you sold the highs, you're making money. The average seller is making money. Okay? That's what that means. Okay, so what do we have here? We're right at the 100-day moving average. We closed right above it. We're below the 20, we're below the 80 MA daily. Okay? Support is being the 50-day moving average right there, that white. Where are we at now? 332.70. 332.70. Where does that put us? 332.70 right here. Close to the lower third of yesterday's range. Okay. Let's look at our profile for the month. All right, last 30 days, or the last month, let's say, we're at the bottom of the range. Okay, kind of weak. Let's look at the weeklies. We're underneath the 10-week EMA. Okay, last week we closed below it. Can we get above it? All right, let's look at the Russell, the weaker index. You can see the year profile, right? Right at the most traded price. Okay, we had a big move yesterday. Let's zoom in here. You can see the move down, and we're holding these lower prices. Okay, but yesterday, let's get in a little closer here. Yesterday, what did we hit? The 50-day moving average. Right there, that upper wick. Hit the 50-day moving average. Okay. You have it actually finally closed above the 80 MA daily and the 20-day simple moving average, but then found resistance at the 50-day. Okay. Key resistance level right now is 176. 176. Okay. Where's the Russell now? 174. It is right in the middle of yesterday's range right here. So made a nice move up, but then right back to the middle. So that basically is not going to tell you much. Okay, let's look at the profile over the last month. We're right in the pretty much the middle of this range, not telling you much. There's weeklies holding under the 10-week EMA, right? That's very important, that 10-week EMA, very powerful. Let's move on to all right, that wraps up the indexes, and I forgot to put my little graphic up there, so I'll put it up there, just wrap it up. That was that wrap up of the 4 indexes. Now we'll move on to my triple headed monster. That's been very indecisive. We've got 10-year yields. Now 10-year yields are rising again. Okay, let's make these a little smaller here. It just pumped up just as I was speaking about it, right? So if these continue to start rising, we know what happens to equities, right? It's the inverse. The equities will start to fall. Now, sometimes this is a leading indicator, right? Because they call that the smart money. So we really have to keep an eye on, can we break 3.56? We have to see, right? Let's look at the VIX. 1793 is our resistance here. That's why I have an alert set there. We pop, pop, pop. You need to sustain and hold this in order to get the VIX higher, which would send the markets lower. But we're just holding under there, right? Seems like we have some support here around 1644. So keep an eye on that VIX. The dollar has just been crazy indecisive. But we're holding the 102.20 level. All right, we're holding that. If we make a little move, it's really important to see if we can make a move. Okay, that's going to put pressure on the metals. If we go up, higher dollars, bad for equities as well usually, and for commodities. Okay, which is obviously gold and silver commodities, but oil. All right, so that kind of, did I forget to put that? I'm losing my mind here. So that wraps up the triple-headed monster of the 10-year yield, the VIX and the dollar. Okay, now let's move over to just give me a second. I'm gonna hit you with the watch list real quick. Let's move over to my favorite market profile and volume profile. It's great. You can just see a roadmap of the market. Gives you nice structure to lean into. Okay, tells you what's going on. Here we are. You can see just a straight up balance, boy. What a balanced profile. Every day I'm saying the same thing, right? The great thing about the volume profile, market profile of these composite profiles on the right, I mean, all I have to do is look at that and go, oh, we're in balance. I mean, of course you can look at this, but I just love I can just see this and go, oh, we're in balance, right? Nothing to see here. Here's the month's nice curve. Here's the last week's perfect bell curve. That just tells you we're in balance, we're indecisive. There will be a big move. We just don't know when, and we don't know what the catalyst is going to be. Okay? We're back in this chop zone. We're back in the chop zone. Now, what did happen yesterday was the most traded price of the week went lower in the ES. So now they're lined up together, but still this area is chop zone. You don't want to really be in this area. Choppy mess here. Okay? A lot of indecisiveness. You don't really want to initiate trades inside chop. Okay? So most traded price of the year of this year. We got the 90 MA daily, the 20 simple moving average. We got a monthly VWAP. We got the most traded price of the month, the most traded price of the week. It's just a bunch of confluence, big levels that are just holding. Right? Now we can look at what's going on now. Right? So I can expand this here. Let's expand it here. Okay. Let's get into where we're at now, right? So price is right here, 41.39. We have an overnight high, we have an overnight low, we have yesterday's high, we have yesterday's low. So yesterday went right into this demand zone, got bought up. Okay. All right, so we're in the middle of yesterday's range. Here's the midpoint. And we're right in chop zone. So this is just not going to tell you much. It's not giving you a lot here. However, we do have a little something that, if you watch, what the next thing we look for. I don't know who's watching, but maybe they can comment. And what is the next thing I'm going to say? Maybe someone can say it before I say it. I'm going to give you 5 seconds. If someone's watching, I'll get time to give you some credit. If not, I'm going to tell you right now. Okay, so in the ES, we are 100% net short. So we closed up here at the highs, and then the market has just been short all night. So that gives it an advantage to a long. Now, you want to see the market more or less in here, okay, to get a fade. Okay. You want to see it down here. So that's one thing to note. We are 100% net short overnight. This means that the whole session's been short. They're weak hands, so we could get a push up to hurt them. Okay. Now this scenario is very similar to yesterday. It's going to be very short and sweet of what could happen in this market. All right. So again, we're back to an inside out trade. Okay. So if you're going to want to be in the long camp, okay, there's a couple things. Actually, let's deviate really quickly. Really quickly. I really want to make this clear of what I want to do here. Okay, really quickly. Let's look at these candlesticks. Okay, let's look at these candlesticks. Let's look at the hourly charts real quick before we come up with a game plan. Oh. Okay, so what do we have here? We have a wedge forming here. So we just got a trend line here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times it's found support on this trend line. We have trend line coming from here. So you got a nice wedge pattern forming. Okay. So you do have a demand zone here, right where this trend line is. So you could look for a bounce into this demand, right, to see if we could possibly break out of this trend line. And this is the most traded price of the year to possibly go here. Okay. And then you'd want to see if we could break this trend, hold under this big level to see if we can go lower to the 50% Fibonacci. That's a candlestick look. Okay, let's move on to the NASDAQ. Just want to give you guys different looks so you can see what I'm seeing. Now here's that big channel that got bought up yesterday. So I talked about this in my midday update. I said you had the 50% Fibonacci, you had this prior resistance that became support here, you had the 9 EMA daily, you had a demand zone like I already said. Okay, you had yeah, I think that's all the confluence in this trend, and obviously this channel, right, got bought up. Okay, so then we made a move into supply in this heavy resistance and found some selling. Okay, so what is we gonna do? We're kind of double topping here. Does this NASDAQ have one more move like this to this trend again to go higher? Don't know. I don't really know. But we're in the middle of this channel right now. It's not a good place to be. So that is the hourly charts. Okay. Came down to the 50% Fibonacci. So now we're all the way back up here at the top of the range. But a lot of stocks are overextended. So if you look at the XLK and XLC sectors, they are at very key points. Okay. I'm going to go back over so we can talk about our plan. Okay, so you have a demand zone here. Okay, so let's talk about that plan. So we could come down. So we got monthly VWAP here. You have a big level here. You could definitely come down into this demand. The market could, this is a huge level, 41.36. Try to get below it, and the market could definitely, like I said, with the 100% net short, can make a move. Possibly to the other end of the range, right? If you want to be conservative, you let this move happen and hold the most traded price of the year this year, and maybe we get the move higher. The other move is, well, we're in balance, right? So you could say, hey, I'm just going to be the outside in trader. I'm going to fade the edges. So if the market happened to move into this demand zone and we can't fill this gap again, then we're going to travel again up. Okay, so look at the short, right? What would need to happen for the market to move lower was, remember, you got this big levels, monthly VWAP, most trader price of the week and the month are right here. You got a demand. Well, you want to see this demand get broken, and you want to see the market kind of hold under here. The market holds and accepts lower. Well, we're probably going to go visit. There's a demand zone here, so you could get a pop at her. But if it gets weakness, you can kind of like do one of these, and maybe we fill the gap, or we bounce from the bottom of the range. Of course, if the market does do with one of my long scenarios, if it does wind it up coming into here, well, you got this key resistance line up here, and if you're just short and you want to do the outside in and fade the edges, you see how we react here in the supply, and then the market could roll over and we're back in balance. Okay, that's ES. Let's move on to the Qs. Okay, as always, let's analyze. So you have a bullish imbalance in the profile. So this is the rolling week. See how this is like getting a lot of volume and not a lot of excess. Okay, you need excess to complete a profile. Very bullish. So where's the key levels now? Well, I said this would happen yesterday. The most traded price of the week has moved higher now, which is bullish. It's here now. Okay, so that level is 133.90. So that's our first line in the sand now to hold for the Nasdaq to go higher. Okay, and we still have our big 132.88 level, the most traded price of the month down here with monthly VWAP right here. But now that's moved higher, right? Because you can see the volume. It's not getting weak. Okay. Now I'm already seeing a nuance already. Maybe someone spots it, but I'm going to talk about yesterday's highs here, yesterday's lows. Yesterday came right into that demand zone. We already talked about it and bounced up, right? And we got overnight high, overnight low. This demand actually just got broken. So, very balanced profile overnight. We don't have any kind of overnight inventories, 100% net long or short. Very balanced. What are we holding? It's holding the most traded price of yesterday. So that's where I was going to get to if no one can call it out. I made a short about this nuance. Let's talk about it. Okay, so we know everybody bought this dip. Not everybody, but the market per se bought the dip. All right, closed up here. Right, and we know from volume profile that the most traded price is here. And we closed here. So guess what? Everybody most likely who traded here, which is the most traded price of yesterday, is long. And they're long and we finished here. Okay, so where's the most pain? Where's the most pain? That's what you got to ask yourself. Well, it's going to be a weak low now. And that weak low is going to be, oh, look at that. It could even happen right now in front of our eyes. But the weak low is right here. Overnight low, most traded price of yesterday. And we're starting to work our way down. You could see a little flush as I'm speaking. Not as powerful in the overnight as it would be when we open up. But we could see a flush. Just because everybody's long. Here we go. Now remember, this is overnight, so people who traded stock went long, it's not going to affect them. So that's a weak low. If it holds, fine. It even makes the weak low even more powerful. So you're getting bought up now. That's good. So let's say with my HD short, if I don't want to short the market, and we say we come up here, but then we revisit this weak low, well, if you have any kind of short bias in any kind of stock, you might want to look to short that. Okay. Okay. Let's get into a little bit of scenarios here. Let's get into our trade plan or our scenarios. Okay, so we know the NASDAQ is above our key levels. That it has to have a bullish bias. We know the profile needs excess. So we're going to lean bullish. Okay, so what can the market do today? So, as always, you need liquidity. So if you're like, sometimes you look at the market and you want to just say, hey, the easier trade is a long, and you don't care about shorting, right? So in this scenario here, the weak low that I just talked about, you'd be great. I want to see that weak low break. You want to see the market come down, go try to probably have a little tough time going through the most traded price of the week, but then you got a demand zone here, right? You have 90 MA daily, you have that key level again. Well, market can't go lower. Market's probably going to rip back up. And I would, you could land here at the most traded price yesterday, and then can we revisit the highs and break out? It's a very big possibility. Now, the market could definitely hold this most traded price of yesterday. Okay, it could definitely come down, dip below it, and start holding here, holding, and then the market could obviously go higher as well. We do have a pretty significant resistance here. Can't knock on that door too many times without busting the door down. Okay, that's what I see there. Now, as far as a short, right? Or as far as the market getting weak, this supply has been pretty good, right? Started here, acted as resistance, acted as resistance. Okay, so what you'd want to see is the market to find itself here again. And sometimes the market will, if it's imbalanced, we have indecisiveness, buyers aren't strong enough, and you start to get weakness, and we could find ourselves going back down again. Could stop here and go all the way down, maybe get a little pops from this demand, and maybe we work our way down all the way down here. You have to be open to all possibilities. That's wrapping up that. Okay, I hope everybody that's watching, or if there is anyone watching, that you guys see the plan, understand it. I mean, I don't see any comments, and I hope I covered it in detail that you understand it. You don't have any questions. Um, pretty basic. There you go. Thanks, man. Pretty basic. It's usually always basic. You can make it as complicated as you want, but it usually is very basic. If you just go by these inflection points that I point out, right? So that's what we have going on in the market, right? So be patient today. All right, it's always about patience. Wait for your setup. I told you about the stocks that I'm looking at. I have alerts set, and when that alert gets triggered, you do get a little burst of adrenaline, but you just still got to sit there and look at the indexes, look at my gamma levels, look at everything, right? You're like a pilot checking off all these tools and all these gadgets. You want them to line up. And if they're not really lining up, then you probably don't have a trade, even if it works. Because you got to stick with what you know when you want the most probabilities in your favor. Okay? So, I'll try to do a midday update today. Today, actually, I have a little bit of a busy schedule after, so I'm going to try to fit that in. If I see it importance, I might not get to that today. I'll try to, but I might not be able to fit in. But I still want to make those shorts of my trades yesterday, so you guys can see what I was looking at, right? Because I think that helps, right? When you can see what information I'm using to say I'm confident enough to enter, right? Everyone's gonna have their own things, but it's good to see somebody's mindset, right? Hopefully that's what happens when you guys look at my shorts for the trades that I do. And but anyway, appreciate everybody watching, right? Of course, if you can give me a excuse me, thumbs up, that would help me. I appreciate that. Of course, please subscribe if you haven't already. Trying to build the channel. Set an alert. You can join me every day at 8:15 a.m. That would be much appreciated. And I wish everybody to have a good day. Stay green. Be patient. Let's make some money. All right? Everybody have a good day.